Welcome back, guys. You're back with us at Beamer Sun Garage, and we're glad you're coming back. Now, this is the control arm out of this 69 Cadillac. Yep. And what I've done is I placed it in the position that it's bolted onto, and I put a little gray primer over here and a little yellow paint over there, and that's going to mark how the shaft goes back in to here. Once they drive these bushings out, and they got these new bushings to put in, well, a guy could get this thing out of Kelder, you know. And so when he pushes these new bushings in, okay, up there and down there, they could have this turned around or maybe flipped around, and, you know, so it could be all out of whack. So I painted it so they understand this is the top here, this is the top of the shaft, this is the top of the top. See how I did that? Yeah. This ain't my first rodeo. And what it took to get it apart was just like I knew it was going to be, a royal pain. So it took a sawzall and a lot of know-how. And I sawzalled the stabilizer link. And two, because when you turn the bottom bolt, the top bolt stripped. So parts of it's laying all over the place. Here it is. Here we go. You see where I cut it. So we'll have to get a new one of them. Now the shock, it's no good too. I can't, it won't move. So I may pop that shock out, or I may just try to fight it back up in there, because I did save the bushing and the washer to it and the nut. But the bushing's not very, very good. So I may try to find a bushing and just put it back in there, because it needs shocks. And the shock was a pain in the butt to get it unbolted. I had to unhook it down there, and it still wouldn't come down because the shock was still hooked up there. And as it came down, the shock is somehow wedged in there and won't let it come apart. So then I had to take the shock apart up here, which was a pain in the butt. Then I had to saw off the stabilizer here and unbolt it here. There was two bolts here, 1, 2, and then the stabilizer in between there. So there was 3 parts to the strut rod hooked to that lower control arm. And there's still pressure on it, so yeah, there's still pressure on it. Still seems like it's wanting to jump out of there. So I'm gonna have a hell of a time putting it back up in there, because now I've pulled the jack out of there, and it's gonna be a mother. But you know, I got this far with it. I'm sure I can. I'm sure I could fight that back up in there. You know, I'm definitely gonna do it, one way or another. I don't know what I'm gonna have to implement into it. Maybe a come along, maybe God, you know, and pray. But we'll get it. That's for sure. We'll definitely get it. And maybe I should have took the tie rod off, but that's been more work. And so I should have took the rotor off, and that'd have been more work. And so I unbolted the caliper and hung it, but I didn't take the rotor off of it and unhooked the tie rod, and just, you know, more work and more work. I just did the minimum to get the control arm out and get it unbolted from its perch up here where it sat for ever and ever and ever. It sat there and there, and there's 2 perches right there, and right there the perches, 2 perches it sat on, like a bird sitting, a couple of birds sitting on a porch or perch. Yeah, sitting on a perch. And unbolted it, and now I gotta get the bushings put in, then come back and then bolt that back in there, and then try to fight this horror deal back up in there and get the shock hooked back up, and then go find a bushing or something. Maybe I can use that bushing. Huh? Yeah, there we go. There's my shock bushing. That's better than what I had. This is what I had. Only a half of a bushing. Here I got more of a bushing there. Yeah, there's my bushing. Reuse the stabilizer bushing. Let's see how to work on it. Yeah, it should work. Voila. One bushing created. It's going to need shocks, but, you know, I'm just trying to get it to, work for him so he can take it to this pumpkin run in 2 weeks. So we're just trying to get it so we can make it to the show. So once we get these control arm back in there with the new bushings, and then try to get this all bolted up, we'll, cobble the shock together, and we'll have to get a new stabilizer link kit because we cut ours. Yeah, ours ain't no good. So. Hey, there's a better bushing too. Look at that one. That was mint, yeah. And that's not all of it. There's some of it I cut off. There's like a top part. And I sawed off, but there's no washer. Yeah. There's a washer. Then there's a little, actually, more than that. There's a piece of it I cut out because I cut it right in the middle. I couldn't get the top of it where the head was, the head of the bolt, and I couldn't get down here where the nuts are. Double nutted. Look at that shit. I didn't have a prayer. I didn't have a prayer getting that apart. It was double nutted. No wonder it just spun and spun. I just put a socket on it and it turned the whole thing. And when I held it up here, it just kept stripping. Well, I could see, it was double nutted there. But even though it held that bolt, it should have really could have. No, you have to hold that nut there and then spin that nut off of that nut. So yeah, I was screwed anyway. I went on that one. So we got it. We went. We're winners here. Always have been. You guys knew that. Didn't you? Yeah, you guys knew. So we pulled everything in the kitchen sink out here for it, and we told you we would. I mean, we got sockets and whole snap-on Craftsman set with wrenches, and we got the tire hammers, and tire bars, and sledgehammer, and we got the Sawzall out. Air hose, impact, air compressor, we pulled out all the stops like we said we was going to do. I've been doing this a long time, so I'm not going to be denied. I want something, I will have it. It might take me a little while to get it done because I haven't been feeling the best, guys, and most of you guys know from that car wreck, that truck and car accident. So, but I got it. I want. My son's off getting the key cut, and he'll be back, and then we're gonna send him to get that done for us. And that's it, guys. 65 Barracuda coming back. We're gonna work on the brakes today, hopefully, and this thing here is gonna get fixed, and this will be back. And we'll see you in the next one. Check out our friend Jamie Phillips, Actions Auto Parts, guys. Check out my buddy. See what he's doing. You can see what we're doing, Jamie. Control arm bushing today. Yeah, I've been doing this about 40 years. Over 40 years I've been working on cars and trucks. Probably more like 47 years. I started when I was 13. 12, 13 from my brother. And my dad. And my grandpa. I used to work on my grandpa's stuff. Both of them. Papa Clyde, which was my dad's dad, and then my mom's dad, BHE. So, yeah, I sure did. Worked on cars like this for him too. Cadillac for BHE. All right, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Check out my friends Jamie Phillips Actions Auto Parts, and we'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye-bye. Oh, this thing's a pain in the butt. Got it, though. Winning!